Good afternoon. It is Monday, July 18th, and I'm going to be doing a drive with FSD Beta 10.12.2, an abbreviated version of my Northeast Minneapolis Test Loop. We've already done a lot of parts of this drive in previous drive videos, so without having to redo the same route again, I'm going to go to some of the unique spots that we haven't tested yet that were previously problematic for us in the recent FSD Beta builds. So I'm going to fast forward. I'm going to drive to those spots. There's just a pair of them that I can think of that I want to still test with this build before we get 10.13, which has started rolling out to employees as of this morning. So without further ado, let's go for a drive. And like I said, I'll skip forward to those parts as we encounter them. Alright, this is the first section here that we're going to give a shot here. And as we've seen in previous builds, we're still too far towards the center of the road. You can see here we're basically, over the line almost. So when a car comes, it kind of gets back over, but then the car immediately goes back way too much to the center. We should be a bit more biased to the right, if anything. So this is, again, another issue that's been there for pretty much all the FSD 10.x builds. I will say, though, this problem is supposed to be resolved, or at least somewhat addressed, with 10.13. So looking forward to doing this same route again once I get that update, hopefully later this week. So again, you'll see the car is just overly hesitating here at an empty intersection. Again, this has been another pain point for FSD Beta in previous builds. Unfortunately, it's gotten a little bit better in terms of the amount of time it does hesitate, but it was pretty much an empty intersection, yet we still took way too long to make that right turn. So again, I'm hoping to see some better results with 10.13, but just again, recording this for comparison's sake. So right around here is where we would typically see the car stray a little bit too much towards the center, and it wants to almost do what it did before, but then you see it corrects. So again, a new behavior in 10.12 that I haven't seen in previous builds. It would always result in about 3 disengagements for this clip here, especially towards the end here. Let's see if it holds to the right, as it should. There's a car coming here, so I'm ready to kind of take over. And it does a great job staying to the right of the line, and it's pretty much flawless there. Of course, now we get to a spot where we're making a left turn and we're not using the left turn lane here, so I'm going to take over and go from there. But probably the best I've ever seen from FSD Beta when it comes to planning of those curves there is properly staying to the right, exactly what we want to see. So I'm looking forward to some more positive improvements where it could stay a little bit more to the right if I want to nitpick, but compared to previous builds, that is a for sure confirmed improvement with 10.12.2. Alright, this is our next area where FSD Beta has really struggled in previous builds. So we're going to make a left turn here onto Plymouth Avenue North, and then right after we make that turn, there's another intersection. And for whatever reason, in previous builds, the car would just come to a complete stop. And it would not budge, even on green, even if we were the only car, or even if there's a car in front of us. So, kind of bizarre. I will say FSD was very interesting right there, and trying to nudge itself out in the intersection, but really bizarre behavior there. Definitely going to report that. So here's the spot, anyways. For whatever reason here, it would just hang up. So, let's see if it comes to a stop, and it's still doing the same thing. You see the car has tried to slow to a complete stop here, even though we have a green light. So this spot continues to be a problem. I'm going to try it one more time just to see if we can just be the lead car and see if it does it again. So I'll fast forward to that spot here. Just bear with me one moment. Alright, this is the second opportunity here for FSD Beta. See if we can get through this section here. So on green, the car should obviously proceed, but what we've seen in the past, what we just saw in this previous take, is that the car, for whatever reason, will just not proceed on green. So let's see if it goes here. It's trying to go, Okay, so from a dead stop, we seem to go on green just fine, which is interesting. So I am going to try this one again, try the situation, see if it's a little different, and record a result. All right, this is take 3. So we're on Plymouth Avenue North, and we are trying to go across this intersection here of 2nd Street North. So let's see what the car does here. So far we're 1 for 1 of it proceeding, I should say 1 for 2 on it proceeding on green. The first situation though was obviously a bit different. We were already in motion and the car wanted to slow down. Versus now again we'll be coming from a dead stop. So you see the car will not proceed on green here. So I have to hit the gas and go here. So the issue still looks to be there. So it seems like the last time was really just a fluke. So for whatever reason, the car just will not proceed there. Not sure what's going on. So I'm going to report that one to the team. I'll definitely be emailing them about this as a follow-up. But again, good to see, I guess, at least that the issue is still unfortunately there in 10.12.2. There's a lot of other areas where the car would do something similar that have all since been fixed by this build. So I was really hoping that we would see a change in this behavior at this location. But unfortunately, there's still one issue remaining. So I'm not sure if it's bad map data or what. Obviously, 10.13 will be soon rolling out to public testers like myself. So I'll be definitely coming back to give that a shot and see if it's for sure fixed in the next build or not. Alright, so coming up here is another area where FSD has previously had some issues with. We just had some bit of phantom braking there. I'm going to report that, but normally we would be turning left at this intersection coming from the opposite way. However, just because again I didn't do the full route this time, I'm abbreviating this whole drive just to show the problem areas. But essentially here we're going to turn on to Stinson Boulevard here. Let's see if it's going to go. Alright, I'm just going to nudge it to tell it to go here. Alright, so we are now on Stinson Boulevard, and so in previous builds I would say, like, I think it was like 10.6 or 10.7, the car would gravitate more towards these dead space areas on the right here. That hasn't been a problem for some time now, so I don't expect any regressions here. And as you can see, the car is pretty smart about not using that space. It still kind of gravitates towards it a little bit, but it doesn't actually go into the space. So, you know, I'm kind of fine with it right now. But up here, and I'm glad to see the church doesn't have anybody in front of it, car-wise or parking-wise, because we'll see if the car is going to continue to use that space. So there's more dead space up here, but really this is, you got to stay to the left, is how people, you know, normally drive around here. So as you can see now, the car is going to pretty much go into the dead space. So now we're fully in the dead space here, and you can see it thinks it's 2 separate lanes. It's pretty wide. And now it wants to make a left turn, which I haven't seen that before. So it kind of got back over. However, it just doesn't. It wasn't far enough over. It should have stayed that way the entire time. All right, I'm going to give it a nudge here. It's hesitating a little bit too much. So again, the car in regards to dead space, the first section, no problem. That issue continues to be fixed in the builds and not a regression there. But I would say for that second section there, obviously we still have some issues, unfortunately, there that need to be corrected. So definitely reported that. Coming up, we have a few different intersections up here that, you know, this first one here has not really been a problem for FSD. Sometimes there's been situations where people get into the Minnesota nice, you know, behavior where they want you to go first even though they were first to the intersection. So of course that requires, you know, from a driver perspective to hit the throttle to tell the car to go. But as you can see there, that was brilliant. No issues there. Car stopped as it should and instantly proceeded when it was clear to do so. Exactly like a human would do. So. And then up here is the dreaded, it's a weird 4-way stop, but it's definitely a non-conventional one. Basically have 4 roads converging on a single point. So here the car in the past, when it was empty like it is now, would just sit here and creep and just do things very, very slowly. And I'm going to take over because there's some potholes here. But to finish the thought, that intersection there has been a problem for pretty much every FSD 10.x beta build, right? So again, this is the first release where I've seen numerous improvements in areas like that. So, you know, like I said, it's there's some persistent issues still hanging around, but overall, I'm really happy to see a lot of these issues have been fixed. So, good stuff. And I would say a little bit of a regression with that turn there compared to previous builds, which I'll definitely report. Unfortunately, the car does this. The braking as it comes into the corner is a little less smooth than I've seen in 10.10.2 and some of the other builds. Initially, that was a really rough corner for FSD with like the first, what was it, 10.3 release and 10.4. It was really rough. It would just slam on the brakes and then try to make the apex and then, you know, finish the corner. But it seems to be a slight regression. Again, the whole bag of points change, which I noted about in one of my previous videos. So one behavior that continues to be, I'm going to take over here because there's somebody right on our tail here. But one problem that continues to exist, as you saw there, the car likes to swing way too far to the right. And that really confuses traffic behind us. We should not be using the dead space of the road that's reserved for parking for turning like that. We don't need that big of a sweep to the right to make that left turn. We could literally just go to the line, hold to the left, and then make the turn. There's nothing fancy about it. So that continues to be a problem there again. I'll report it for good measure. But and then the last piece here, as you can see, this is really a driveway. Otherwise, it's a two-way stop. The car still sometimes hesitates, but honestly, I've only seen it once where it overly hesitates like it has in previous builds. Otherwise, it proceeds normally. So I would say 90% of those areas like that where the car would previously creep too much and just not proceed on its own in an orderly fashion, those problems are gone as of 10.12.2. So this has probably been one of the most productive builds from a bug fix perspective that I can remember. So I'm really excited to see some more progress in 10.13. Obviously, there's a long way to go before we're at like that level 4, even I'd say advanced level 3. But we're getting closer with every build here. So overall, very positive stuff here. And again, look forward to testing 10.13 hopefully later this week or early next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.